Whether it's
cats who yell,
the depths below,
sharp cutting,
or Frank Ocean,
there's a sub for that.
Welcome to the front podcast of the internet.
He's your host, Hillbilly Willy.
And he's your host, Scott. Are you telling me you built a time machine out of a DeLorean? Gurrola.
We're a show all about Reddit,
Covering all the ups and down votes in about 30 minutes.
If you like the show, you can find more of us
On TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram.
or walking the red carpet with Young Gravy. Do you know
We're
he's from
too
White Bear
old.
Lake?
We're too old to know this.
He's from White Bear Lake.
What?
He's from Minnesota.
What a douche. Did you see the video of like who was it? Was it Lizzo giving a speech or like Cardi B giving
No.
a speech and then Young Gravy's
Literally,
in the
that's
background?
the only thing I know.
So there's a video of like an artist getting an award, and in the background you see Young Gravy pull in Addison Rae's mom and start making out with her.
Weird flex, but okay. I mean, I went to Young Gravy's merch store because, you know, got to represent the Minnesota angle.
Sure.
He's actually got a really cool hat I might buy that looks like a Tide logo, but it says Gravy instead of Tide. But he also has a bumper sticker that says "Got MILFs," because that's his MO.
We record a lot of stuff, and sometimes it doesn't make it into the show, Scott. But Young Gravy, if you're from White Bear Lake and you're not too busy, come on our show. We've got moms. Come on them.
After the MILFs come to the show. Yeah. Before we kick off with today's stories, I just want to have a little follow-up. A couple weeks back, you might have seen it on our TikTok already, but Willy had a little distinction issue between ravens and crows. You remember this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember.
I got a little quiz for you. Again, kicking it off. We'll see how...
It's fine. I'm fine. I'm fine.
If you've learned, if you've actually, done your research.
I have done my research, and don't come at me, Scott. I'm showing my hands. No cheating here.
Yeah. You won't even know where this one's from because I'm not going to give you that clue this week.
Oh, great.
But I just need you to tell me, is this a raven or is this a crow?
Okay.
Question number 1. They have a wedge-shaped tail.
Crow.
Incorrect.
Bullshit.
-1 point.
I hate it here.
The raven has a wedge-shaped tail. The crow actually has a fan-shaped tail.
Okay, fine.
All right. They travel in groups.
Crows.
You are correct.
Because it's a
Ravens,
murder. A murder of crows.
Yes, exactly. Ravens actually travel in pairs.
Oh, cute. Like a lobster.
Mm-hmm.
And penguins.
Their lifespan is 30 years.
Ravens, for sure. Those MFers are around way too long.
You are correct. A crow actually only lives to 8 years old.
Oh, that's so sad. They're the best.
Last one. They are extremely intelligent.
This is a trick question. It's both.
Good job. Yes,
Yeah,
you
that's
got it right.
Bullshit. I know my crows and my ravens. Do you remember the ravens we saw at the Tower of London?
Yes, and I quote them all the time.
You what?
Nevermore.
Okay.
Nevermore.
I've never read Shakespeare. Give me a break.
Well, speaking of UK stuff, my story from today is from entertainment. Ozzy Osbourne has revealed that the U.S. mass shootings has influenced his family's move back to England. This is a story from Papa Was a Rolling Stone.
I didn't know he was alive, first and foremost. And at what point have the drugs fully consumed him, and are we seeing the first truest form of a zombie? Like him and what's that other big like
Keith Richards?
Keith Richards is still alive,
Yeah.
right?
No, Keith Richards is the human equivalent of a cockroach. He will never die, and nothing can kill him. I know somebody who's worked adjacent to Keith Richards. Like they were in charge of like prepping his rooms for when he was on tour and stuff. So his rider is to actually have ashtrays all over whatever room he's going to be staying in, and packs of Marlboro cigarettes right next to them. Because if you don't, he's going to ash on your stuff anyway.
Oh.
So, I mean, he's smoking regardless. He's got him, right? So he's
Smoke him if you got him.
That's right. And since he can't die, apparently, or he's like the mirror for Dorian Gray, you know?
I was going to say, it's like smoking cigarettes is bad and it's exponential, but there's a certain point where it stops, where you hit a threshold. And that's that point that he's crossed where your body is just tar. Nothing has the ability to change or manipulate. Cancer can't really flow through your body because it stops. Ugh. Can you imagine his bedroom? Like, have you ever been in a smoker's house? Oof.
I don't want to imagine what Keith Richards smells like, although I'm sure it's intoxicating.
Okay, we're off.
To go back to the story, Ozzy actually has been suffering from Parkinson's pretty bad recently. And
just recently?
It's gotten worse over time, and that was probably one of the big reasons. But the biggest reason he decided to move back was he said he doesn't want to die in America. He doesn't want to be buried in the celebrity-filled memorial park at Forest Lawn. So
do they bury a lot of celebrities there? Is that a thing?
It's a celebrity cemetery, I guess. But yeah, he's somebody who is from somewhere else and just can't take it anymore, on top of everything else he's got going on in his life. So he just wanted to go back home. I just thought it was very interesting that we might be now scaring away some of the best and brightest that have come over here in the past, and just creating that that level of I don't know,
distrust in the American dream, if you will.
Yeah, or turning it into an American nightmare.
There's a show title for that, American Horror Story. Have you ever considered moving to a different country? Has that ever been something you would entertain?
Yes, but this was before all of this. Well, I won't say before. It wasn't due to the recentness of our gun violence. You and I went to England, and I was like, I could probably live here if I'm being all things being honest. Yeah. And then when we went to Paris the next year, like, yes, Paris was amazing.
Oh my God, the food! Could you eat the food? Was that an option for you?
At the time, it wasn't too bad. Okay. I'd have to go back and test things out now, but it's much more my lifestyle. Like, go to work, stop at the market on the way home, grab the food that I need to eat that evening, rinse and repeat.
I mean, that's what I do right now. It's just that the stopping for food is a Trader Joe's.
Sure, and everything's spread out. Whereas in Paris, you know, your apartment is probably only a mile away from where you work.
Sure.
With several food options in between you and home.
My partner and I have, and I don't think I've told you this, we've considered it. We've thought to ourselves, would we want to be at the point of like an aging population pre-Ozzy Osbourne, because he has money and so does his family? Would I say, like, when it's time to retire, would you just get up and move to a different country? I think I would. I don't think there's anything that would stop me if I could do it financially.
Sure. Just kind of depends on what you're looking for. I don't have any plans. I really want to retire in San Diego, if all things being equal.
I also like whales' vaginas.
It's very nice down there, if you know what I mean.
Why San Diego? Just because it's warm?
The first time I visited there, it was kind of like love at first sight with the beaches and just the relaxed attitude. Your proximity to the border with Mexico. Now, granted, there's a naval base there, so it's probably like a first strike target, but I just won't try to think about that. I'll be old enough where it won't really matter anyway.
True, yeah. Probably not the craziest thing you'd ever do in your life. I think you've probably done crazier or experienced more things, but
I know you have.
This week, Scott, in the subreddit, Ask Reddit, the question was posed, what is the craziest thing that's ever happened to you.
Oh.
I don't know if you necessarily, if we can keep up with the top 5 here, but why don't I give you some of the top stories that Reddit has to offer this week? And you can tell me on a scale of 0 being that is not crazy at all. That's like drinking milk on the couch. Or crazy being, holy shit, I had a stripper shit in my mouth while Danny DeVito filmed it. I don't know. Right? That's your scale, 0 to 10. Here we go.
Okay. Oh, boy.
All right. Yogurt Lady said in 2013, I received a notice from my college that my low GPA for my previous semester made me ineligible for financial aid the following semester. It was my last term in grad school, and the college was threatening to drop me from all the classes if I didn't pay tuition within 72 hours. So I went to drown my sorrows at a bar later that night, and I met a stranger, and we started talking. I told her my story, and she offered to pay my tuition. I told her I didn't accept loans from strangers, but she said it was a gift. Turns out she was a very wealthy CEO, and that night she wrote me a check for $2,500.
That's bonkers.
I'm more upset that this person in 2013 paid off all of their student loans for $2,500.
Oh, sure. I mean, if she had just held on to it, she could have gotten it taken care of this week.
All right, scale of 1 to 10. How was that?
I'm going to say, okay, so it was Milk and Danny DeVito, scat video. I'm going to say Gwyneth Paltrow starting her own company with egg vaginas. So it's like a 5.
Rodler said,
Oh, no.
I was on a plane with a wanted terrorist.
Oh.
I was seated 5 rows ahead of Faisal Shahzad, the Times Square bomber on a flight to Dubai. The doors were closed and we never left the gate. The captain kept making announcements and excuses as to why we were delayed. After nearly 3 hours of sitting there, the federal agents rushed the plane and marched the little shit off the plane.
Okay. All right. That's like Chris Pratt filming a makeout video with Blue from Jurassic World. I'm going to give that like a 7.
Okay. All right. It's a weird flex. Okay. Platinum Fish 53. I've got a couple more for you. Said, I went for a routine goiter removal surgery. Goiter is a swelling of the neck resulting from an enlarged thyroid gland, in case you're wondering. You knew this?
Yeah.
Great. Weird thing to know, Scott. The surgeon only removed my right side of the thyroid because he said I was young enough and didn't want me to take my thyroid meds for the rest of my life. At the post-op appointment, the biopsy came back and it's cancer.
Hang on. That sucks for that dude, but can you go rewind it just a couple seconds? And what test was run?
Goiter?
No. It starts with a B.
Thyroid?
It starts with a B as
biopsy?
Yeah, okay. You said it biopsy.
Biopsy? Yeah.
Yeah.
How's
biopsy?
That biopsy.
You said it like by menin.
I don't know what the
biopsy.
I'm not hearing what you're hearing.
No, nobody's hearing what I'm hearing, to be honest.
Get your thyroid checked out, everybody. So the surgeon immediately scheduled surgery to remove the other side of my thyroid. Post-op of that surgery showed a different cancer growing. I basically had 2 surgeries within 8 days and 2 different cancers at the same time. Due to the trauma of surgeries and radiation treatment, my vocal cords became paralyzed. I had to go to speech therapy for almost 9 months to learn how to speak and swallow again. The ironic thing is, I had a biopsy done. There it is. I heard it that time. Now I have to keep the original part in. I had a biopsy done about 6 weeks before the goiter surgery. The doctor took multiple samples at different levels of my thyroid. Apparently, she missed both cancers. If it had been caught in the biopsy, I wouldn't need multiple surgeries, which led to the trauma, voice loss, and trouble swallowing.
Okay, yeah. That's a shit and mouth crazy story.
I don't know if I have a better story other than just a random massage therapist, non-massage therapist, touch my wiener.
I think that's enough for today. Well, speaking of student loan forgiveness, this week in Sanders for President, there was a post titled, "She's right. If Republicans are really concerned about the people who paid off student loans, then they should introduce a bill to repay them." This is in response to a tweet from Representative Jim Jordan, everybody's least favorite Jim to subscribe to, who posted, "What about Americans who already paid off their student loans?" Nina Turner responded with, "You should introduce a bill to repay them if you're legitimately concerned." Now, I have paid off my student loans, as we've previously discussed. Willy, are you completely paid up as well?
I am.
Okay, so neither of us are really impacted from this, at least in the way that it was designed. You and I are not getting any of this money. In fact, you and I are probably paying for some of these people through our taxes.
How do you feel about that?
Couldn't give two shits.
Same.
But I can't think about it in just that narrow of a scope, right? This is a good thing that happens for a lot of people, and
right.
I'm happy for that. But you know what also happened? Stock market went down.
Yeah, that's not good.
No. And there's going to be a lot of reactionary things. We'll just say a lot of things happening. And how do you feel that this person who said, "Hey, I'm clearly shitting on this because I'm on the other party," how do you feel if they don't do something? Are you more likely to buy into somebody's rhetoric if they're just complaining all the time? Or are you going to buy into their rhetoric if they say, like, "Hey, this is the actual reason why this might be bad"? Because Jim Jordan's a propagandist. He's just like, all of this has to be company line, slogan, make sure our base is riled up enough to vote. He never says anything consequential.
I had a conversation when I was in college. Let me just backtrack a little bit. And if you've noticed, if you listen to the show for a while, you've noticed that we've paused a little bit our thoughts around politics, because ultimately, like, this show should be a fun place, safe place for everybody to hang out and everybody to feel welcome. We don't want to necessarily shove our beliefs down other people's throats, and therefore everybody should have the opportunity to listen. What I will tell you, just let me give you a little backstory. I grew up in a pretty conservative household. My dad is very conservative, and that's how I grew up, and those were my beliefs. I had a friend of mine, a roommate in college, say something that it was the first time it really clicked. It wasn't a liberal thing. It wasn't a Republican thing. To this day, I don't think I could define him in one or the other. He said, "I look at politics, the people that are in a position to make my life better. They're the ones that have the most influence over that, other than me and the things that I consume. I look at it as, do I want to go backwards or forwards? It's not a left or right. It's a forwards or backwards. And I will always look at who I vote for as somebody who is going to progress me forward in things that are going to continue to make my life and the people around me better."
I didn't know you went to college with Andrew Yang.
Is that what Andrew Yang said?
He's starting a third party called the Forwards Party.
Oh, Jesus. Shout out to my old bud, Andrew. I think that there's a shitty game that's being played right now where people are picking sides, and for whatever reason, they think it's fun to fuck around and find out with our lives. And I don't like it. I do want to say that of the people that I pay attention to, which is multiple sides, AOC said this week. She said, not every program has to be for everybody. People with apartments pay for first-time homeowner benefits. Young people pay for Medicare for their parents and seniors. People who take public transit pay for people with cars, even if they go through public transit so that they don't have to pay for a fucking car. I added the fucking part. Maybe student loan forgiveness doesn't impact you and I, Scott. That doesn't make it bad. I'm sure that there are certainly other things that student loan borrowers' taxes pay for. We can do good things and reject the scarcity mindset that says doing something for good for someone else comes at the cost of something for ourselves. If that means that, like, I worked my ass off to get my student loans paid for, which publicly on this podcast, I understand I'm in a privileged position. I essentially had a PPE loan forgiveness to get out of my student loans. And it wasn't because of me. It's because my dad is disabled. I don't know why I air quoted. He actually has like handicap sticker.
I am also disabled.
And without any request, my parents didn't go out and say, like, we are looking for loan forgiveness. The state said, hey, we see that you're on the disabled list. You don't have to pay for student loans anymore. And they just forgave.
Wow. That's crazy. I did not know that. I just worked my ass off and paid for them out of my own pocket. So I guess I'm against this student loan thing.
Knew it. I knew it. Speaking of a show, Scott, it's a few short months until the show of your lifetime. The one you and your partner have been working for.
Nope. Oh.
Scott, your wedding.
Oh,
bum, 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 bum. Is that it?
That's the one they play at the end of it, traditionally.
Well, Scott, I want to talk about some of the things that you're hoping won't happen at your wedding, because this week in r/watch people die inside, there is a post that said groom and bride dies inside as priest berates wedding photographer. Take a listen or a watch.
And in accordance with God's will, you do now confess it. We're still good, huh? Please, sirs, leave. Please.
Where do you want to be?
Anywhere other than here.
Okay.
This is a solemn assembly, not a photography session.
Look at the bridegroom.
Please move, or I will stop.
You want me to leave? Please.
I will stop the ceremony if you do not get out of the way.
You want me to leave?
This is not about the photography. This is about God.
I'm just going to make sure that everybody's on the same page for my wedding day.
You're gonna talk to the officiant and say, just so you know where we're at, not this.
Photography exists, and it has for some time, so we're just gonna go ahead and not be spooked by all these things happening around us, if that's okay.
Are there things that you and your partner are worried about? You have to have had plenty of conversations about what's to come, what you expect.
I'm very worried that some things aren't going to go off without a hitch, but I'm taking as many contingencies that I can to prepare for things up front. I've heard some horror stories from some friends who got married recently, like the venue that they had booked for several months. Suddenly, their lease ran up, and the landlord said, "This is no longer an event space. You can't have your wedding here."
What?
Yeah, and that was with like a couple weeks until the actual date.
What a dick. I'm assuming at that point they had paid.
Well, you paid something. You got your down payment at least. You don't, I guess, pay everything until the actual event goes through.
Sure.
You know, we're the same. We put down payments into several things thanks to some generous financial assistance from our own versions of PPE loans. Parents, personal parents.
Personal parent protection loans, yeah.
Right, exactly. And
no, they're
something
called
goes,
personal parent privilege loans.
Also true, yes. Thank you. You know who you are, thank you. If stuff goes south, you know me. I'm pretty chill. We'll try and figure things out. I've got it in the back of my mind that at any point in time we can elope. We can go to the courthouse. We can just get something done. And that's only because we haven't sent out the invitations yet.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't invited or gotten returns from 100+ people that we're hoping show up. I know.
It's a big
Once it
wedding,
gets into
buddy.
that zone, we might have to revisit this and ask me how I'm feeling. But like right now, I just have to find suits for you and the rest of the groomsmen, as well as myself.
Easy
And then-
mode for us.
Yeah, we've still got time. We're still 8 months out. We're still chill.
It's just a wedding pregnancy.
No firearms are going to be allowed at the wedding.
Fortunately,
not be a
Scott, we live
shotgun
in a
wedding.
state where we can abort it.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh no. Too soon. I'm so sorry.
Too soon, Willie. Too soon.
We have gone to plenty of weddings in our day, in our time. And Scott, it's time. It's sometimes good. It's sometimes not. It's time for ups and down votes with Willie and Scott. Oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
Oh shoot. Yeah, that's right. We're going streaking.
Tell me, Scott. I'm covering it. Heads or tails?
Well, Aragorn kicked the helmet, and inside a helmet is a head.
Oh my God. This wedding is
Willie.
bullshit.
So the funny thing is, I can't see the coin that Willie is flipping. I just have to go off of his reaction. And he is not a good enough actor to play this. Like, he is not Daniel Day-Lewis. No offense to you, but I believe you every single time. You could be totally trolling me just to get me to laugh.
You will know. You'll know the moment that I win because I'm so excited.
You're going to, like, pick up your chair and throw it across the room.
Guys, I can't tell you how frustrating this is. All I'm doing, I swear to God, all I'm doing is going to Google and typing flip a coin. And then an animation happens. And then I tell Scott, heads or tails.
Pick one.
Pick one. And then it says preparing. And then this little fucking woman on a coin does her little flippy flip, and it lands on whatever the fuck Scott says. And it's always right. And this little bitch.
Oh, man.
You know what I've done? I've done this 3 times. I've done this 3 fucking times. I flipped the coin, and I've been like, I flipped it too early. It's heads. No. I'm going to flip it again. And then I flip it again. So it's preparing, and then you go and say the opposite of what it is, and I'm like, there's no way he's going to get this right. I was right. I should have left it there. I would have won. And then it fucking lands on the thing that you guessed 3 times. That's why I put my hands up. That's why I put my hands in front of the camera, because I was like, I'm not flipping it a second time. I'm just not going to see what it is. And it's the same fucking thing. Oh.
I know. Our TikTok audience is only going to know this as the Willy downvote section, just because every single week, there it is, front and center. Willy's downvote. Willy's downvote. Willy's downvote. So I hope you have your downvote ready, because I've got my upvote.
I'm ready. Of course.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I want to go
Consolation
first. Okay. Listen, I feel trapped. I feel like I'm not going to be able to get out of this. And just like my downvote of the week, it's from mildly infuriating. Scott, did you ever live in a dorm room?
Yes, 2 of them.
I lived on the U of M campus in Pioneer Hall. I don't know if you know anything about the U of M campus, but Pioneer Hall.
It's small, shaped like a U.
I lived on the 3rd floor of a 3-story building in a single. This building had no air conditioning. So I had to open
You
the
have
window.
cross-section windows?
No, I had a window.
A window. Ooh.
But the thing is like, because I lofted my bed, it was either too hot or too cold. So I went.
Very Katy Perry-esque.
Yeah. I went to Menards, local brand.
Save big money.
I bought one of those dual fans where it blows air out and blows air in.
Double blower.
sucking and blowing the whole time. And I was fine. I slept okay. It was hot as balls. I had to walk up 3 flights of stairs. I was young. It was fine.
So far, we've got suck, blow, balls, double blower. We still haven't gotten to anything that relates to a
prepare for
downvote
these
yet.
students to get real fucked because this week, and mildly infuriating, this person says my university screwed all of our dorm windows shut so we can't open it for fresh air or in emergencies. It has a little sticker on the window that says windows must remain closed at all times unless of an emergency. Tampering with windows, locks, or opening windows is prohibited.
How are you going to get the screw out?
I mean, you just open
In
up
an
the door,
emergency.
you find somebody you're interested in, you do it. That's college.
If this was in those Mormon dorms, they'd die.
They'd be so
They don't know
soaked.
how to. They don't know how. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to screw. They're doing it all wrong in Utah. Okay, well, mine's way happier than that.
Good.
It's actually about somebody who never went to college, and they did all right for themselves. Do you know LeBron James?
LeBron James.
LeBron James has now been an active NBA player for longer than he has lived. That is my upvote of the week.
How does that work?
I'll do the math for you because we're both terrible at it.
Okay.
He was born December 30th, 1984.
Okay.
His NBA debut was October 29th, 2003.
Uh-huh.
That's 6,878 days. Now, his NBA debut October 29th, 2003, as of yesterday, August 28th, 2022, that's 6,879 days. So, he has been an active NBA player longer than he has been alive.
That's not how math works.
Longer than he's lived as just a basic human.
Okay,
Not
got it,
longer
got it,
than
got
being
it.
he's alive.
So okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
see
yeah.
what you're saying.
Just-
Hold on.
He wasn't really living. He was just existing until he became an NBA player. And then from there, he suddenly was alive.
Thank you
because of the
for
money.
explaining that for all of us idiots that have no idea what you just said. That's so interesting. So he has been in the NBA for more of his life than he has not been in the NBA.
I don't even know what job he might have had, like if he bagged groceries or, was a Subway sandwich artist before during high school.
There's
But
no
it doesn't
way.
matter.
Anybody who's that talented at a sport has been playing that sport. That's
Yeah.
it.
His resume just has one job, and that's NBA.
I remember in high school getting into all these arguments of like, what's the more challenging sport? Playing hockey or playing basketball? Because that was the constant debate, right? Because those two sports play concurrently with one another, especially in high school.
Yeah.
So you would debate with those with like, well, we're the hockey players and we're the basketball players. My thing is, doesn't fucking matter.
I mean, that's true. That's true. Why is that even an argument? Like, just let them be. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Find more of us on our social, and we'll see you next week.